Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. And, of course, at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steven Larson, where we will be live this Sunday for AEW Revolution. Hopefully you'll join us for that. Right now, our predictions video is available over at our other channel, Friendo Club Wrestling. So go check that out when you're done with this video.
Yes.
Not right now, because we're about to do a whole podcast.
We're doing it, but then we're done with, that one. Speaking of Revolution, if you're a YouTube channel member, if you're a patron, you can participate. I should say a $5 and up patron. You can participate in this month's Big Red Challenge for AEW Revolution as soon as we're done recording the show. As soon as we're done, I'm going to put the form up. You have till 12 p.m. Pacific Sunday to get your predictions in.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that should be a lot of fun. You can become the Big Red digital title holder right now. Yes. Moses Opposes has been holding that title. Maybe he'll successfully defend it. I don't know. Find out. So yeah, on this episode of Going In Raw, we are of course going to be covering this week's Rampage. It's the go home to Revolution, but of course, Cody, Roman, the Bloodline. That's sort of where the money is, Larson, because there wasn't really we'll talk about Rampage and the ramifications for Revolution, which there were some kind of minor. I mean, they added a match
to the 0 hour, the kickoff show. They did
to the kickoff. So we'll talk about that here in just a moment. But first, let's dive into Smackdown. They promised earlier today on social media that the Roman Cody confrontation, the face-to-face, would go down to start the episode of Smackdown, and it did not disappoint. I thought there was a pretty excellent promo work between both men and the creative team that came up with what was going to be said. Speaking of which, earlier today, we did a podcast episode of Going In Raw where we talk pretty extensively about an interview that Paul Heyman gave where he talks about the creative inner workings of the Bloodline. Larson, talk to us about that promo while I let my cat
out. So Roman's about to start talking. Cody interrupts him. And Roman proceeds to really try to go for the throat with Cody. Brings up his dad and more or less follows through on Heyman's line of thought that Roman was the son that Dusty never had. And at the end of Roman's bit, Cody says, "Oh, I get it now. I see what you're doing. You didn't send Paul to Raw to play mind games. You sent him to tell me the truth." And Roman, as Cody is talking, starts to realize that his plan has backfired, that rather than getting in Cody's head, all he has done is aggravated him, angered him, and seemingly made him more determined to beat Roman. Yeah. As opposed to questioning himself, which I believe the point of it was to put doubt in Cody's head that he can even be on the same level as Roman. Roman brought up, well, have you won either of these titles? No. Yeah. Have you main evented WrestleMania? No. I can't remember the exact line just written here in the notes, but essentially it was Roman talks extensively about Dusty training him. He does a Dusty impression.
Yeah, the Dusty impression, that was definitely over the line, man. That was totally, it was amazing. It was great. It was really great stuff. And, I had mentioned during our live stream that Roman is easily got. He is easily manipulated. You can get under his skin fairly easily. Yeah. And he has a history of this. This is not new. And so when Cody gets in there, he says, "Oh, I didn't know it would be everybody. I didn't think I'm just here for a conversation. But if you need them, they can, they can stay." So Roman he smiles, but he's irritated. And so sure enough, he dismisses everybody. And so it's just him and Cody. And it was really just an outstanding promo. And by the time Roman got done with, here's the thing. It's such a give and take between the performers. Because if you remember another memorable promo off between two people, The Rock and John Cena, I got the feeling that John Cena, when he did the line about having the promo written, the notes written on the arm, Rock had no idea that was coming.
Oh, yeah. None.
I feel like in that situation, the two performers, they were just out there to see if they could actually elicit a response from the other one as legit. In this case, this was a performance. It was a great performance, and I kind of prefer that, to be honest with you, as much as I love to see people shoot on each other. Roman's reaction to this promo would not have been, this segment would not have been as effective had when Cody came back to Roman and said, "Oh, so you actually believe that? You're telling me your truth about Dusty and me and everything." And that jazzes Cody up, and that, like you said, freaks Roman out.
Yeah.
If Roman doesn't sell that, this promo's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roman sold it as shook.
Yeah.
But trying his damnedest to put on a facade that he cannot hold.
Yeah. So even as Roman's leaving the ring after the promo, like he gets on the floor, he kind of does a quick over-the-shoulder glance to Cody, does a little bit of this.
Yeah.
And then turns around. As soon as Cody can't see his face, it's just, oh, God, what have I done? He does that a couple times up the ramp. He turns and, smiles at him, keeps walking, just, oh, gosh, I'm a deep shit.
Yeah. I thought I didn't think Cody would be able to come back from what Roman had just dealt him. And I thought that he did, but in large part because Roman sold it so wonderfully, the interplay between them. And Roman, you had said at the tail end of this, Roman Reigns is one of the, as a character and the performer behind the character, is one of the greatest performers we've seen in pro wrestling. And you can go back and look at his matches going back to when he started as the tribal chief, especially the stuff with Jay and then Jimmy, and you can see it. You can, all the stuff in the ring, and this, the last couple months have really brought it to another level where this guy is on fire with the character that he's portraying, the conflict inside. It's a wonderful thing to behold. Really it's a special thing.
You can tell through and through, inside and out, from every possible facet, he knows this character.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't seem like when he's in a situation where he has to react, he has to think about it.
Yeah.
He just does it because he knows this character so well.
Yeah.
You know, he knows all the hurt inside the character of Roman Reigns. All the betrayal, all the times he's been betrayed. It's there, just waiting to be harnessed, seemingly at any instant.
Yeah.
And when it's time to have those reactions like this, to what Cody said, it's just there, and you don't get a sense that he's like processing anything. It's instantaneous.
Right. Yeah.
And that just speaks to him knowing the ins and outs of this character. It's great to see. It's awesome. As much as Roman was floundering several years ago, when WWE was trying to push him as the top babyface, and just seemingly nothing from a character perspective was really clicking, either for him or for the crowd to see this.
Yeah, it's great.
That is just a home run in every possible capacity, and the crowd's into it is awesome to see. It's really cool. It's
almost a miracle to see somebody, and I liken it sort of to, I mean, you can look at, his cousin, The Rock, to see him as Rocky Maivia, getting no crowd response. To see
he's getting a crowd response. It's just not what they wanted.
To see the transformation. You're right. He got shit on. Okay, I'll go another route though. The Ringmaster. He didn't get booze. He just got apathy, right? And to see him turn into Stone Cold Steve Austin, to see that transformation. I think it's similar with Roman Reigns, to see him, but in terms of the actual performance aspect of it, I think it's unmatched. It's unparalleled. I don't know if anybody's given a performance like this before. It's Jay.
I don't know either.
Jay's in the conversation. Well, Jay is something else.
Great.
He really is something else. Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to have this fascinating character, this consistently wonderful performances, but to see every time Roman's on the screen, kind of the echoes of what happened to him before.
Yeah.
It's all there, and it's something to kind of reinvent your character, but to reinvent your character that so directly references everything you've done prior. Yeah. He's a completely new Roman Reigns, but he's not. Right, everything that happened to him before.
He's a product of all that stuff.
Everything that happened to him before informs who this character is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
No, it's really terrific stuff. And it's funny because the more and more I think about Roman, we get asked this question all the time. What would be next? The idea that we had read ages ago was him being a bad guy was short-lived. He'd be a face, shortly after. Well, they ran with the tribal chief, been one of the most successful things they've done. The idea of him in the next phase of his career at post Bloodline, post whatever, if it happens at Mania or something, whenever he loses the titles, whenever the Bloodline breaks up, whenever he loses the titles, the idea of post Roman Reigns, the idea of a face turn Roman Reigns, I have no idea how they're going to do it, because the idea of, if you're a bad guy, or if you're a good guy rather, you got to chase stuff. You got to have the odds stacked against you. And the idea, I don't have an answer, but the idea of them coming up with something to get the odds stacked against this guy who really is the Hogan, Cena, Bruno of our time, of the last 5 years or whatever. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what they come up with.
Here's the thing that separates Roman from any of those people you mentioned. Yes, they all had really long title reigns or had the title a lot in the case of Cena. In the case of Hogan and Cena, and maybe Bruno, I'm just not familiar enough with his character work to really talk about it. Like, Cena and Hogan were portrayed as like nearly invulnerable,
Yeah.
Whereas Roman now is the opposite of that. He puts up this facade that he's got his shit together, but he is just all hurt in pain underneath that facade.
Yeah.
And so there's a much easier kind of not easier, but much more direct redemption story you can do with him, where he has to confront all of that.
Yeah.
And has to find a way to overcome.
Yeah.
All of that and reinvent Roman Reigns as maybe the babyface Roman Reigns they were hoping they were going to get, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
But you got to make that compelling in the world of pro wrestling.
Oh, definitely. a
that's such a interestingly difficult task to accomplish.
But if you'd said to me, we're going to have a wrestling character who never got over with the fans like they wanted to, was betrayed at a very deep level by his brothers in the Shield, and we're going to have all that inform this character now, would be like, how are you going to do that with any degree of subtlety or nuance in WWE? And they did it.
Yeah. Well, get rid of Vince McMahon.
Yeah, that helps some. Have Paul Heyman be, kind of have a large hand in it too.
Yeah, you get the same guys that are in now. It's just going to be interesting to see how they do it, how they pull, because they could pull off like the biggest face of all time if they do this properly. So yeah, it remains to be seen. Otherwise, on SmackDown, the Intercontinental Championship title picture. Oh, go ahead. You have something else?
I was going to mention this one more thing about the Bloodline story. So throughout, Roman was giving Jimmy a bunch of crap about, have you talked to Jay?
Oh yeah.
Where's Jay? Have you talked to him? And Jimmy is be like, yeah, I talked to him, but he's still not quite sure. And so Roman says, I'm running out of patience. And Jimmy assumes with Jay.
Yeah.
But Roman says, no, I'm running out of patience with you. And so Jimmy goes off. He comes back, and Roman asks, have you talked to him? And Jimmy says, at first, yeah, I did. He needs more time. And Roman's like, more time? Why would he need more time? And Jimmy says, actually, he said, leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
Roman didn't want to hear that.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
And so he told Jimmy to go take care of Sami Zayn. He's still blaming Sami Zayn for all the Bloodline's problems. After Jimmy leaves, Roman tells Heyman, if Jimmy doesn't take care of this, he's not going to take it out on Sam anymore. He's going to take it out on Jimmy.
Yeah.
And so Jay has 1 week, apparently, till next week, to be on SmackDown. Otherwise, we might see another situation where Roman beats up, manhandle something, Jimmy, to get some sort of response from Jay, and maybe even Jay saying, yes, I'm to protect his brother again. I'm with you.
Well, it could mirror what they did with Jimmy in the first place. I mean, in the what was it, the I Quit match, I think it was.
In the Hell in a Cell, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Jimmy's the one who went in there and said, "Okay, I quit on his behalf." Basically, let's resolve this. It's gonna be some really interesting stuff. And again, how do you get them to Sammy and Kevin Owens? Seemingly, that's going to be the match at WrestleMania still. Not entirely sure. Of course, Sami Zayn took a loss to Solo Sikoa tonight thanks to Jimmy Uso, but the idea of the match wasn't necessarily win. It was end Sami Zayn, take him out of the picture. And when they were on the precipice of doing that, Jimmy wanted that moment for himself, and that moment of hesitation allowed Sammy to get up, basically hit him with a chair, a haluva kick, and get out of there. And so a fuck up on Jimmy's part is going to draw even more of the tribal chief's ire, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it doesn't look good for Jimmy. And yeah, again, we're going to be waiting on SmackDown next week to see what happens next, because that's what you want in a good story.
Exactly. You were mentioning the Intercontinental title picture. The word going around was that it was going to be Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Gunther, and so they had a segment with Drew cutting a promo calling out Gunther. Instead, Sheamus comes out and it's like, what are you doing? I want Gunther at WrestleMania. What are you doing? Stab me in the back. This brings out LA Knight.
Yeah.
Of course, he's looking for a match at Mania. He throws his hat into the Intercontinental title picture. This brings out the New Day. And then, who's Karrion Kross came out too. Of course, huge brawl breaks out. And then it was announced that next week we're getting a 5-way match. Whoever wins that will be number 1 contender for the Intercontinental title.
Are they going to do like a double pin situation with Drew and Sheamus?
Could be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the way they go. Ideally, it's LA Knight. He beats Gunther, and then he stacks Roman and Cody in the main event somehow, some way. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, the rumors we've heard, of course, Drew and Sheamus. I do kind of feel like they missed, I don't know, some kind of middle ground with Drew and Sheamus, because they gave a lot of the exposition in the ring. Sheamus saying, I told you, I wanted to do this. What are you doing? And immediately, but I mean, that sort of speaks, I guess, to the hot and cold relationship of these guys anyways.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, regardless if we get that triple threat at WrestleMania, that's going to be a killer. I mean, that might be, given that we both saw Gunther and Sheamus as match of the year last year, this could be that. It really could be with these three guys.
Definitely could. We can jump into it. Show opened up with Roman and Cody having their face-off. Roman's in the ring first. He tells Washington, D.C. to acknowledge him. And right as he's about to speak after that, Cody's music interrupts him. So Cody comes to the ring. And so he says, contrary to what Mr. Heyman may have told you, I'm not here to invade or engage in reckless negotiation. I just want a conversation one-on-one with a man that I'm facing at WrestleMania. I don't see any reason for your compatriots here unless you feel you need them here. So Roman ponders, and then he laughs. And he says, wise man, leave us. Solo goes too. So Heyman and Solo leave, and Heyman puts the belts on Roman's shoulders on the way out. And then Roman says, that make you more comfortable? Let's get comfortable. He says, he may not like this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So he lays down both the titles on the mat in front of Cody, and then he says, so what do you want to talk about?
Ooh, big pop from the crowd. Roman using Cody's catchfriase. That's good stuff.
Yep.
So Cody says, fair enough. Let's talk about you. 915 days you've been our WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. No need to print the legend. The reality is legendary. Congratulations. Let me tell you something about me.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah. Hey, we got to let me tell you something. He says, let me tell you something about me, something you may not know. For some, you have become this impossible mountain to climb, but that's kind of my thing. You can't be worse than Randy's understudy or Stardust. You're not going to survive Stardust or 10,000 people seeing my little indie show that me and my friends put together. The goalposts keep moving, but I continue to punch it through the uprights. You may be impossible for some, but not for me. Cody chants breakout.
Yeah, but Roman laughs. Ha, 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 ha. Says, he's good. Sounds like you rehearsed it all week. It was flawless. Let me switch gears. Let me ask you. Did you ever win that one? He's pointing to one of the titles. He's like, oh, we know you haven't. Have you ever competed for one of these? You ever been in the main event of WrestleMania before? Pretty sure I've done that. That means I am the most experienced main event of all time, and here's the kicker. I've been trained since I was a kid by my father, and yours too.
Oof.
He says, let's talk about your dad. He says, I have too much love and respect to degrade him. Spent a lot of time together. I said it many times in interviews. The dream put the confidence in me. And then that's when he does the Dusty impression. He says, we would talk about everything. To be honest, it's about right now in my life. He told me about all this stuff. He was the best. You want to know what he said about you? Nothing.
Oh,
He never said anything. At least when I was with him. Maybe to Kevin Owens or Seth or Becky. But with me, you didn't exist. I know it's a lot, but I wish he was here right now. I know you miss him. I miss him too. And so Roman picks up the titles, puts it back over his shoulder. He says, I know he's not here anymore, but know this. If there's anything he didn't teach you, I will. And he extends his hand.
yeah. He thinks he has this one.
Yeah.
He smirks. And Cody, he gathers himself. He's making this realization. He's like, oh, he says, oh my God. He says, I'm not even playing on the same field here. He says, this isn't chess. He says, you didn't send Mr. Heyman to Raw to get inside my head. You sent him to relay the real life situation, to tell me the truth. He said, that's the truth. Truth is one of the fabled Dusty's kids is better than his actual kid. You're the son he always wanted. That changes absolutely everything because it's not a dream or an urge or some story. This becomes a necessity. You say I don't exist, I have to exist, and the only way I can is beating you at WrestleMania. So absolutely, Roman Reigns, sir, may the better man win. And they shake hands, and like we said before, Roman was pretty shook at what he just awakened with Cody, because prior to this, it wasn't personal. He just wanted some wrestling titles, and Roman has just opened up a whole can of worms.
It's just every step in the way here is becoming more and more personal for Cody, and it's looking worse and worse for Roman.
More and more dangerous for Roman, yeah.
I mean, literally, if they had just been like, all right, it's for a couple titles, cool. Then maybe Cody wouldn't be walking into this bout with the level of intensity that he's going to.
Yeah.
It's like Roman and Heyman have really overplayed their hand trying to play the mind games with Cody, and it's getting them nowhere.
Yep. Yeah.
Nowhere. Then we got Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. Rhea got the win here. Not that surprised, although there was a fan in the crowd that was very heartbroken to see Liv take the loss here.
Apparently that fan was invited backstage and took a picture with
Morgan,
Liv Morgan, though. So that's nice.
So Rhea hits a riptide and then locks on the cloverleaf, but that even isn't enough. So she kind of takes her knee and puts it on Liv's neck, kind of like lion tamer style.
Yeah, that was rough.
And Liv just taps out.
Yeah.
I don't know, it didn't look comfortable at all. Like, shoot, it looked really uncomfortable. So Rhea wins that. And afterwards, her and Dom celebrate. And there's the fan in the crowd crying. And then we go backstage.
Yeah, so we're backstage. We see Sammy and Solo Sikoa for later tonight. We go to commercial. Heyman's talking with Jimmy. That's when Roman asks, hey, did you talk to Jay? And he's like, Jay, he's a hothead. He needs time. Time? How much time? Jimmy says, I talked to him this morning. He's better today than he was yesterday and the day before that. Roman says, I'm not running out of patience with you. And Jimmy's like, okay, I'll go let him know. And gets off the couch and goes.
Yeah. Then we're backstage, and then Dom and Rhea are walking up down the corridor. Santos Escobar walks up to him, and Santos says, Ray should have punched you, Dom. I understand why he couldn't, but I can. I talked to Adam Pearce, and he agrees. So tonight, I'm going to show you about respect. So if you want to meet me one-on-one, I'll see you out there.
And then he blows a kiss to Rhea. He says, hey, mommy.
Yeah.
That was funny. He's just big strut off, too. It's funny.
So
then we had Santos Escobar versus Dominic Mysterio. I love Dominic Mysterio. You guys know that. And this was awesome because he won, because he pulled out some brass knucks. And as the ref was trying to get those from him, Rhea Ripley gives Santos a riptide on the outside of the ring, shoves him back in. A frog splash later. Dominic gets the win. And, of course, Santos had brought Rey Mysterio's mask, the mascaras he gave him. He brought that to a ring on a little head mannequin thing. And during the match, he was shoving Dom's face in it. And then Dom turned around and did the same thing to him. So after the match, Dom grabs the mask off the corner. They go up the ramp a little bit. He starts ripping. It was a beautiful mask, too. He starts ripping the shit out of that mask. By the way, shout out to the guy wearing the Montgomery Ward's shirt in the crowd. So he keeps on ripping it up more. They go up to the stage. Ray's music hits. He comes out and he's like, man, come on, dude. That's a good mask right there. I gave it to him. And he's like, give me that mask back. And Dom's like, no, hit me. Go ahead and hit me. He headbutts Ray, throws it down on the ground. He gets a cheap shot in on Ray. And then Ray just sort of sits on the ramp holding the mask, shakes his head some more. And Cole is really giving the business to Dom here.
Yeah, not happy. Not happy. Then we're in the arena, and Sammy's doing a phone video in the concourse.
Yeah.
Fans gather around, and he's talking about how they aren't getting rid of him until he sees the bloodline go down. And by the time he's done, there's a lot of people around him.
Yeah, I like that he had sort of done this on the down low and people start realizing that he's there. And then by the end of the thing, they're all just around him and he's yelling and they're yelling.
Yeah, it's great.
It was pretty cool, man. After that, Drew McIntyre's in the ring. He says there's 4 weeks to WrestleMania and Drew McIntyre still doesn't have a match. How about we remedy that? There's a person I want to beat the schnitzel out of. Gunther, I'm calling you out. Gunther doesn't come out. Sheamus comes out. He's like, what the heck, man? Going behind my back? He says, you of all people know how much the IC title means to me. In 15 years, you know how much I want. This is the one thing that Sheamus
one belt he has yet to win.
Hasn't won, yeah. So they argue. And he says, Drew is like, or Sheamus says, there's more than anybody. I wanted Gunther. And Drew says, I didn't realize you're my parents. I didn't know if I needed your permission. And Sheamus is like, I'm not, but I thought you were my brother. But you're not. You're a backstabbing bastard. And Drew says, all right, the truth hurts, man. He says, if I'm your brother, I'm going to tell you to your real. You had your chance and you lost twice. Yeah. L.A. Knight.
LA comes Knight the ring, says, let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh, the crowd's on his every word.
Dude, oh, man, this crowd is so behind L.A. Knight.
Totally. See, it says, someone talking about the Intercontinental title, you better talk about L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're both handed every opportunity and cry. I made it clear you can't have an L.A. WrestleMania without L.A. Knight.
L.A. Knight. And the entire time he's talking, Drew and Sheamus are acting like they don't hear him. But,
they're bickering.
They're marking out on the inside. They're like, oh, L.A. Knight's here.
Man, this guy's so over. Oh,
this guy is so cool. His red shirt and his leather vest. After that, and then the New Day music hits. They come out. They talk some shit about L.A. Knight begging for a WrestleMania moment. So they get in there, and then and they're like, "Hey, dude, how do you think you're going to win a WrestleMania? You can't even win a match on SmackDown." Ooh. That brings out Karrion Kross. He's got a fancy shirt.
That was a nice shirt.
It was. L.A. Knight attacks Kofi and Woods. Sheamus takes L.A. out and faces off with Drew. He loads up and hits a dive on everybody. And Kross sends Sheamus shoulder first into the post. Kross stands tall, and then they announced a little bit later there's going to be an elimination match to determine who goes to WrestleMania.
I felt bad for Kofi because he got the worst of the Drew tope, and then when Sheamus, after he got posted, he fell out of the ring and landed right on Kofi too.
Yeah, and a lot of beef just landed on him there.
Yeah, he got the raw end of that deal. So we're backstage earlier in the day. Apparently there was a tag match. It could be Shayna and Ronda taking on Tegan and Natalya. However, there was a brawl that resulted in Ronda having a hurt arm. And so they just do a singles match, Shayna versus Tegan. But based on the music and video packages, you would have thought it was Ronda versus Natalya because Shayna made her entrance to Ronda's music and Tegan made her entrance to Natalya's music.
Like, I get that, the Joan Jett song is like they're probably paying pretty good money for it. But Shayna's got her own music. It's not great.
That's true.
But she has her own music. And then Tegan Knox has her own thing. What the heck?
Yeah, I know.
That was weird.
So Shayna just wrecks Tegan's arm.
Yeah.
Puts her in the arm bar. Tegan taps out.
Yeah. Yep. After that, Ronda gets in after the match. Shayna, and Tegan's like, oh, my arm's broken. So Kayla's backstage with Gunther, and he says, it's an absolute disgrace. A man like me has been kept waiting. He says, we're 1 month out, and no one's identified my opponent at WrestleMania. I wish it to be L.A. Knight. No, he didn't say that. That'd be pretty awesome if he did, great. Though. I love that guy. No, he says, I'm worried I won't have a worthy opponent to do battle for this prize in our precious sport. And then we get a pleasant surprise on SmackDown. WWE Raw's own Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, another great outfit from Lashley here.
Oh, he looked like $1 million.
So he comes to the ring. They replay the Muscle Man dance. Pull up your pants. Shake your behind. Erase your mind. Back to
That's the line. You found the line.
No, someone in chat mentioned it.
Shake your behind. Erase your mind.
Erase your mind.
Run.
So he grabs the mic and he says, "For the past 2 weeks, Bray Wyatt has been telling me to run. But I don't run from anyone, and since that didn't work, he played his little kids' games. It was a bit funny, but it was a sign of weakness. But where I come from, if you have a problem, you see that person face to face. Since he isn't man enough, I decided to come see him. So Bray, if you're man enough, I'm here. Come see me." Then we get Uncle Howdy Tron, and then Uncle Howdy attacks Lashley from behind and runs the ropes.
We got to see Uncle Howdy run ropes. I'm so excited. That was the best thing ever. He attacks him behind and then runs the rope for another attack. Oh, that was amazing. He ends up getting laid out. Or he was
Lashley catches him with a slam, and then Lashley's up for a spear. Lights go out.
Oh,
Lights come
man.
up. No Uncle Howdy.
Uncle Howdy ran the ropes. That was the best thing. It sounds like him. It is clearly Bo Dallas, and it's goofy as hell, but it's pretty awesome. Right. Yeah. So anyways, we're back with Jimmy and Roman. Roman says, "You talked to Jay? What did he say?" He said he needs a bit more time. Oos. And Roman says, "More time?" And Jimmy's like, actually, he said, "Leave me the hell alone." And Roman said, "I don't understand how he could do this after everything we've done for him. Always been there. Matter of fact, this didn't happen until Sami came around. Maybe that's where it comes from. I'm going to fix this Sami Zayn problem. You go out there tonight with Solo and you get rid of him. If you get rid of Sami Zayn, Jay will come home. Can you do that?" Jimmy's like, "Yeah, I got you, sure."
Yeah, so he leaves, and then Heyman's like, "Oh, great idea, my tribal chief." And Roman just goes, and he says,
he's like, "That's not a wonderful thing?" Because he said, "It's a wonderful thing." And
And then Roman says, Jay has 1 week to come back. If he isn't back in 1 week, I'm not blaming Sammy. I'm blaming Jimmy.
That's when we get the announcement for the 5-way for the IC title shot. And then we have our main event. Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn. The finish saw so Solo's got Sami set up for the hip attack. He hits a hip attack. Points to Sami, sets him up on the top rope. Sami blocks him. Kicks him away, then hits a cool tornado DDT to get 1. Sami heads up top with a crossbody for a 2 count. Sami tries a blue thunder bomb, but Solo blocks it and misses a corner splash. Sami hits a blue thunder bomb for a 2 count. He sets up for a haluva kick, but Jimmy's able to pull Solo out of the way, which allows Solo to then take advantage, immediately hit a Samoan spike to get the win. Solo Sikoa remains undefeated in solo action for I think since he debuted. I don't know if he even lost in NXT since his debut.
I don't think he lost in NXT. I don't think so.
So he gets the win there. Post-match, Solo gets up on. He's delivering a bunch more spikes to Sami, and then Jimmy throws him off. He starts beating on him. He tells Solo go grab a chair. So they set Sami up for the hip attack with a chair on him. The refs try to break it up. Jimmy says, "It's your fault, Sami. Now you got to get got." That's when he puts the chair around the neck. And Solo sets up, but Jimmy's like, no. He hems and haws. He's no. I want to do it. But then as he's about to do it, Sami gets back up, throws the chair at Solo, hits a haluva kick on Jimmy, grabs the chair, and he's about to take it back to Jimmy. But Solo's like freaking Michael Myers. He's coming at him, and he throws a chair at him. Solo swats the chair away.
Yeah, it was great.
So Sami runs out. And then you see Roman backstage watching the TV. He is pissed off.
Not happy.
Yeah.
Not happy. Then we had Rampage 2. In terms of how it affects what we're going to see at Revolution, we got another match for 0 hour, the kickoff show. We had a Mark Briscoe promo, which set up him, Lucha Brothers, taking on Varsity Athletes and Ari Daivari.
Mm-hmm.
As of now, that's the only announced kickoff show match.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in terms of how this show influenced, Jungle Boy confirmed it's going to be what they're going to call a final burial match, but it's a buried alive match.
Yeah, it seems to be a buried alive
between
match.
him and Christian. And then the end, Ricky Starks with rib tape attack Chris Jericho at commentary, so it looks like Jericho's going to win.
So, yeah,
really
this
is
sort
a
of
feud told in reverse.
This it really is. Yeah, this sort of evens out. I don't know. I get the suspicion that because it is Stark's advantage with Jericho Appreciation Society not being there, they're gonna throw us a swerve, and then they'll go to a third match that Starks will win that one. That's just that's my gut. I don't know if I'm gonna choose that on the form. On the predictions thing.
I'm changing mine right now.
You're getting it right now. There you go. So yeah, I don't know. Jericho also said, I know he said this specifically about Action Andretti, but he said at Revolution, we're gonna be done with this. Or he said after Revolution, we're gonna be done with this. I'm never gonna fight, or I'm never gonna beat Action Andretti. He wants that to mean something. Yeah. He doesn't want to get his. I don't know. People criticize Jericho for this shit, for working with younger people, but I'm like, I don't see any harm in any of it whatsoever. Like it's nuts to me. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like they might take it to a third match, dude.
EW in here has an interesting idea, and one that could alter the fortunes of the match for Ricky Stark, and that's if Action Andretti joins Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho won't wrestle him again if he's in his faction. Action
Andretti is like the most sports entertainment name. It's like up there with Daddy Magic. You know what I mean? That's a definite possibility. That's totally a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like that'll. If you look at what Sammy is doing with Garcia will have somebody to do that with. That's a really good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I got to change my pick too. Change my pick.
Not a lot of confidence points on Jericho, but I'm going to go with Jericho. Show opened up with Aussie Open versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta.
Me now.
Yeah. Dark Order and Top Flight. The Kingdom. Sitting ringside with Maria.
Oh, fresh off a huge win on the first episode of Ring of Honor, which we also reviewed earlier in the day today.
We did. Blackpool Combat Club get the win here. So Mark Davis accidentally lays out Kyle Fletcher. Another really strong showing for Aussie Open. Not a win, though. After Reynolds tags himself in, Dark Orders hit a bunch of offense on Darius Martin. Go for the cover. Wheeler breaks that up and puts the seatbelt on Darius to get the win. And afterwards, Dark Order and Blackpool Combat Club brawl. They go all the arena. And so that storyline's going, which is cool because it keeps Dark Order involved.
It does, and I appreciate it.
Silver and Reynolds are a really good tag team.
Dude, when they do that combo shit, just wop, 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 wop.
It's so fast.
It's so much fun, yeah. I know. Really I love that. Can't get enough of that. After that, we had a really nice Hangman Mox video package for Texas Death coming up on Sunday. Then we had a Jungle Boy promo. He has a shovel. He says, and I agree with this, Christian Cage, this should have ended a long time ago. He says, you say you want to fight, but a fight isn't enough. It's going to be you, me, and a hole in the ground. It's going to be the final burial.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something.
What?
Wasn't it about a year ago that Christian debuted? Or has it been 2 years now?
It's been longer than that.
Okay, well, no, it was after the Rumble. It was like shortly after the Rumble. Wasn't it like at a Revolution then? If it's not a year, it feels like it's been around the anniversary. Because remember, it was like almost right after the Rumble. I feel
like Christian with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus for almost a year.
Okay, well, whatever. What I'm talking about is
Christian took the Impact title off Kenny.
What year was that?
Remember,
dude? Time has no meaning to me anymore. It really doesn't.
So that would have been. Hold on a second.
Was it 2021?
I think it was 2021.
Edge won that Rumble, didn't he? The 2021, and Christian was in it.
Yeah, 2021 is when he showed up in March 7th at Revolution. Yeah, so 2 years ago.
Is there any chance, and I know they could have added time just because of injuries, is there any chance that this is going to actually write Christian off?
Could be.
Hunter's in charge. Time to go back. Him and Edge, one last little run. Because Edge is going to be...
pose.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I knew my math was wonky when I said a year ago. A year goes by so quick.
Yeah.
It goes by so quick. But it sounds like a long time ago, but it's really not.
Yeah.
Anyways.
2 years ago sounds like a long time ago.
Dude, it was 3 years ago the pandemic started.
I know. It's crazy.
It's nuts, man. It's just thrown everything out of whack.
Yep. Then we had a really awesome match between Riho and Emi Sakura. This match was great.
Oh,
Go out of your way to watch it.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Whenever Emi does a fun splash against anything like the barricade in this instance, huge pop for me.
Mm-hmm.
Riho gets the win here. The finishing sequence is really cool. Riho hits a jumping knee. Emi responds with the clothesline that gets her a 2. Emi goes up top, misses a moonsault. Riho goes up top, misses a double stomp. And then, like, the craziest roll-up I've seen in a while from Riho, where it starts as like a crucifix and then to a head scissors into a pinning combination. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was crazy. And we had sort of, I think somebody in our chat had suggested, I wonder if they're going to add Jade versus Riho now that she's on a 2-match win streak to the kickoff or something for a match. Mm-hmm. But then Excalibur was like, this might propel her to the top of the rankings for the world's the women's world title. And I was like, does Jade have anybody to fight? No.
She's beat everybody.
I know. But like
except for the women that are involved in like the main event program,
which is everybody.
Yeah, I know. But Jade's beat everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to do something.
They need to get her involved in this homegrown talent versus former WWE stars. That's what they need to do.
It seems so obvious.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Like it'd be interesting if Saraya were to win on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then like Britt and Jamie, like, all right, we got it. We need help here.
Yeah.
Let's get Jade.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And that leads to Jade beating Saraya for the title.
That'd be pretty great.
That's what they should
awesome. Do. Yeah, man. Another thing they should do is put the TNT title on Powerhouse Hobbs. We had a women's title match video package preceding this match, but Powerhouse Hobbs versus Serpentico is the next match. He wins this with a spine buster and a burning hammer fairly quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Then he grabs the mic, says this Sunday, doesn't matter. Well, he says Bay Area, because that's where he's from. Says it doesn't matter if it's Joe or Wardlow, because the next chapter in the book of Hobbs is the TNT champion.
Oh, let's make it happen.
Man, I hope that happens in Sacramento. At some point during this episode as well, I think preceding this, as they were about to go to commercial, but Excalibur was talking about the matches and the camera was on commentary. JR picked up his phone and tried to answer it. It was during a DraftKings promo.
It was right. Yeah.
It was all the commentators like.
So it looks like he picked it up.
Couldn't figure out.
And then dropped it down and pressed something.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's hanging up or what. But
he was picking up. He was picking that thing up.
Maybe he thought it was a taped Rampage tonight.
He might have thought that they weren't on him or something. I don't know.
Could be. Even though I feel like at that juncture, Excalibur was talking.
Maybe he didn't give. Maybe he was like, "Yeah, I know they're on me. I don't give a shit."
That could be.
Oh man, I don't
that
care.
Could be. Then we have Konosuke Takeshita interview with Renee. She asks him about his loss in the ladder match on Dynamite, and he says, I've had a lot of great moments, but I haven't had too many big wins. I'm not happy. Maybe I should go back to Japan. So Don Callis steps in and gives him a business card. And he says, look at Powerhouse Hobbs. He found his killer instinct. You need something. If you want to go back to Japan, then go back to Japan. But first, maybe you should see what Don Callis can do for you.
So finally we're getting this because they've been apparently filming stuff with him and Takeshita for ages now. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see Takeshita go under Don Callis. Is Takeshita going to end up in the Elite?
Maybe it'll lead to, we'll get a Takeshita Kenny Omega feud.
Or maybe Don knows that the Elite are out the door.
Oh.
He's roping in a new faction, maybe.
Maybe.
But yeah, Kenny versus Takeshita feud. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I need to see that. That'd be great.
That'd be great. After that, we had Mark. This was so sweet.
It really
this Mark
was.
Briscoe promo. He says, man, sometimes I get confused. Last week I took a little nap. I wake up, I'm back at a wrestling show. I look through the curtain, there's a tag team battle royal. I run to the ring, I look for Jay. Maybe we're about to win this thing. I run around the ring, I realize Jay's not here. He's upstairs, he's with the Lord. And I see that prick Mark Sterling. Then I saw my friend, the Lucha Brothers. And the Lucha Brothers come in and they challenge the varsity athletes to a match alongside Mark Briscoe.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Then we get a video package for the tag title bout at Revolution, and then we get the main event video package.
Mm-hmm.
No interview. It was
no interview.
You know, it was bookended by Mark Henry introducing the video package and then doing his bit at the end, and then we got our main event: Mogul Affiliates versus Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes.
Oh wow!
I really wish this was just Keith Lee and Swerve.
Yeah, they should be on.
Dustin's
a
a consummate professional. He's a legend in this business. He can still go in the ring.
He's the natural.
He is the natural. I don't know why Parker's involved in this whatsoever.
I don't know either. Seems to have a hard time moving around the ring. And
you got 3 world-class wrestlers in this ring.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And then Parker was in the match a lot.
Yeah.
And I understand to a degree you're having this
dude.
tag match. You want to save most of Keith and Swerve till their singles match. We got a little bit with them, but not a ton.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
But you got to have someone in the ring with Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes that's on that level.
Yeah, man.
And maybe Parker someday will get there.
Probably not. It's weird that Swerve and Keith Lee are not at Revolution.
That boggles my mind.
Maybe it'll be the main event at Dynamite or something. That we'll get to see that.
I know it's going to happen. I know.
Are we getting a Rampage taping along with our Dynamite?
It could be.
Ooh.
We could be in for a long day.
What is that on? That's on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Hey, but we'll do a count out the day before. So
we'll have to work that day. Yeah.
We'll have to work that day. Nice. So yeah. What is this? The finish is cool. Keith Lee threw Dustin at Parker Boudreaux. Yeah. And then Lee hit Parker with his finish to get the win.
Yeah.
So I mean, clearly this is going to continue. Hopefully, we're not just going to get like, like a promo in Sacramento. I want to see match.
Maybe we'll get Keith Lee versus Trench in Sacramento.
Everybody wants to know where's Trench. I'm not really interested in seeing Trench either, but
Alto confirming here we are getting a Rampage taping.
Nice. Thank you, Alto.
Thank you, Alto. So then we go up to commentary. They're hyping up the Revolution card, and the Ricky Starks attacks Chris Jericho, and they're brawling on stage. Starks got the rib tape on. Refs and producers break them up.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your Rampage leading into Revolution.
Yep.
Got some questions here. John Hosey, who, by the way, John gifted a bunch of memberships in the YouTube. Much, now you can gift memberships. We're on the road to 500. We busted through 250. We're on the road to 500. Hopefully we'll make that tomorrow. Sorry, Sunday at Revolution. John says, who would you guys want to face Gunther at WrestleMania? To me, it's Drew and Sheamus. That's the match.
Wrong.
I wish to see LA Knight across the ring from the ring. LA Knight.
That's the right answer.
You can't have WrestleMania without LA Knight.
That's right.
Fuzzy Dunlop says, who do you guys think makes the Hall of Fame class this year? LA Knight.
Yeah. At this rate, apparently nobody.
The megastars headlining. Yeah.
JR Jr. here says, should every Cody feud have to include his opponent doing a Dusty impression? Apparently Cody doesn't like it when people do the Dusty impression.
He doesn't like it. Yeah.
He doesn't like it.
I think he just thinks when I read that, he didn't seem like it it didn't make him angry, or he didn't think it was disrespectful. He just thought it was lazy. It's like everybody just has one. It's nothing new. Nobody, yes, he had a very distinct way. You know what I love is that on TikTok and like Instagram reels right now, there's a lot of Dusty Rhodes like from NWA promos, like memes, It's when me and my buddy walk up to some ladies at the bar, and it's like him and Magnum TA, and he's like, look at this man, he's so pretty. That is good stuff. Internet's all right sometimes.
It can be. Bohemian Baron says here they're obviously building to New Day versus LA Knight feud at Mania.
Are they?
But what should the match be? Yeah, no.
I don't think they're building that.
Should it be LA Knight versus Kofi, LA Knight versus Xavier Woods, or New Day versus LA Knight in a partner?
Who's going to partner with him? Nobody likes him.
So Bohemian Baron suggests Cameron Grimes. They have history.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Yeah, they do. Did they leave on like respectful terms?
No, it's LA Knight. Of course not.
You know, the best LA Knight moment is still a 2-for-1 special. God, that was so good. He slaps Bray Wyatt, runs and slaps him again. 2-for-1 special.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, that was great. Jonathan Vieira, how long after WrestleMania should WWE do a draft this year, if at all? Announce it the Raw after Mania.
Yeah, and then do it 2 weeks after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like early May.
Maybe you can do it after Backlash. Like Backlash, maybe you can wrap up some stories.
Yeah, that's possible too. Luis, so who would have been Cody's Mania opponent had Roman not called off day one and the match between Seth and Big E gone as scheduled? So last year, not this WrestleMania, last year's WrestleMania.
They would have unified the titles under Roman somehow anyways.
Maybe.
They would have done that. I think, I don't know, maybe.
Because Cody did say on when he was on Ariel Helwani's show that when they came to him, it was with the Seth Mania match in mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. Maybe he wasn't a free agent though until actually after day one.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess by that point they'd already made up their mind what they were going to do.
Yeah, I don't think a whole lot would have changed, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
Sean Chan says Tony Khan has another huge announcement. What's the worst possible announcement, but Tony Khan still thinks it's awesome? I have the answer to this. Rampage moves to 2 hours.
Ugh.
You know I'm slot. Right though.
That's same time slot.
Same everything except it's 2 hours.
Commercial free.
Oh God. Oh my heart. Oh God. That Ring of Honor was so long, dude. That show was so long. It's literally longer. It's only slightly less time than Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
It's just Mitch. It's like he just wrote it down on a napkin. Here's a bunch of matches.
Moses Opposa says, which Revolution match do you think could be a sleeper hit?
Oh, Big Red Predictions champion, Moses Opposa.
Yeah, sorry.
Says what could be a hit? What?
Sleeper hit. What match at Revolution could be a sleeper hit?
I
think the tag match could be really good.
Oh, yeah, that's the answer. Yeah, I think that is going to be really good. Yeah.
That's going to be really good, yeah.
W.S. Fletcher says, Steve, Picard, season 3, how do you like it? It's S tier. It's so good.
You weren't that into season 2.
Season 2 sucked. It was trash tier. It was awful.
Wow.
Season 2 was not good. Season 1 was pretty decent. Season 3 so far, it's legitimately like, so far it's like the best Next Generation movie there's been.
Wow.
Yeah.
They have gone straight from season 1 to season 3. Was season 2 necessary at all? Just yes or no. You don't have to go into detail. Just
kind of.
Okay.
I mean, it's no, not really.
Not really. Okay. Alto here, membership on YouTube. Thank you, Alto. Thank you so much.
Well, kind of. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Okay. All right. Just curious. Kyle here asks, how do you think they'll separate the tag and universal titles? Draft.
Management says it. Yep. Management says, we're doing a draft. We're going to have another champion. That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's that.
That's that, Mattress Man. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Join us Sunday for Revolution Live on the Twitch and the YouTube. Thanks for watching. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.